Hello everybody, happy Friday. So it is Friday, and as promised I am doing a video, and yeah, so thank you guys first of all for writing your questions in the previous comments on the last video. I appreciate all of you guys taking the time and actually writing some questions so that I can answer them over the next few weeks. And not gonna lie, there's a few that I really excited to talk about and kind of nervous to talk about. Yeah, anywho, however, I have my computer out and my phone because I want to address the dark cloud in the sky really quickly about the comment section, and I don't want it to be a long drawn out thing. I don't want it to be an emphasis of anything other than addressing it. So if you were reading any of those comments, you saw probably more negative comments than positive. And I received notifications to my phone. So over the last few days, I have gotten many notifications, and most of which have been negative. And I'm not going to lie to you that it has been really hard reading those. And it took a toll on me, and I wanted to go through and just delete and respond to every single one of those comments. However, that's not me, nor is it the direction of this channel that I envision. So quickly, I'm going to address a few of those hot words that were addressed in that comment section, and then I really want to answer one of your questions. So a few of the comments were dishonest, same announcement, different month, holding my breath, empty promises, same old excuses, time to unsubscribe. I totally get it. I have gone on here many times and done videos saying that I have this content and these ideas that I want to upload, and I haven't. And I get it. And I get that it's frustrating. And it's frustrating to me too, because there's nothing more frustrating in this world than having an idea and not being able to execute it, or not executing it, and just having these empty promises to your own self. That's why I kind of did this announcement on May 1st to say that I wanted to do at least start with a weekly series and then upload sporadically here and there some content. However, it was overshadowed by some of the things, and one of the questions that I just want to address very quickly, someone had mentioned that this channel grew because of a relationship, and I have worked really hard over the last few years of identifying who I am as a person without being identified in a relationship. And I get that there was a point in my life that I documented my relationship. However, I just recently heard a quote that said, some relationships change the course of your life. And there's a few other adjectives in there, but I'm going to refrain from saying them. That quote speaks so true to me in this moment that I'm in right now. I have had many relationships, whether they're romantic or friendships or spiritually, that may have changed the course of my life, and both for good and for bad. I will say today, I am not who I was a year ago. I'm not who I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I have changed and I've grown, and I am proud of where I am and who I am right now. And I want to share that with you, which is why I wanted to do a question and answer vlog, and I want to be honest with you. However, there are still moments that I'm growing into that I might still want to keep private. And relationships are probably one of the biggest things that I want to address. Or not address, I guess, because of circumstances that have occurred, it's kind of some relationships that have occurred have hindered sharing, have hindered me sharing them. And over the years, I have kind of grown into who I was with at the time. And that's not healthy. It's not good for anyone. And I know there's a lot of people that have done the same thing because I talk to them and they've been where I have been, and they're where I am, or they've gotten past to this other world. What I'm trying to say is I don't want to be identified by who I am with. I don't want to be identified by who I am with, whether it's a friendship, like my best friend sitting here next to me, or my boyfriend, or my ex-boyfriend, or my future boyfriend, or my future husband, hopefully one day. I don't want to be identified by that person. I want to be identified by me, Soul Melissa, living in who she is today. And I know that that's going to speak to some of you, and I know that that's going to not speak to some of you. Some of you are going to be like, there's another bullshit. She's just trying to be vague. I'm not trying to be vague. I am trying to be 150% honest with you and telling you that I am transitioning into who I am, and I want to be identified by who I am as a person before I'm identified by anything else. So, this feels really preachy, and I'm really sorry, and I didn't want that to happen, and I didn't want to go off course, but please just know that I've never wanted to be dishonest with you. I've never wanted to be disloyal to you. I've never wanted to hide things, but there are moments in my life that I'm still working through. And when you work through things, as you know, you don't necessarily want to spout it out at your mouth. And once I'm ready to share, and if I get into a relationship and somehow the two of us come up together and say, we want to share this with a whole other world, we'll do it. But it's going to have to be a collaborative decision, and it's going to have to feel true to me. So I hope that you guys understand and respect that. And if you don't, simply just unsubscribe or stop following, or if I don't speak to you anymore as a person, because we all grow, we all evolve, we all change. And you may have loved me 5 years ago. You may have loved me, I wasn't doing it 10 years ago, but more than 5 years ago. Or even a year ago, you may have loved me. And now you're like, oh, I'm not really into this. That's fine. I totally get it. There's many people that have come into my life that I don't relate with anymore. And I'm not asking you to stay here and try to like me again, or relate to me in some way if I don't speak to you anymore. And that's fine. But I'm going to still stay true to myself, and I want to be honest with myself, and I want to put out content that is true to me as a human. So, now that that's turned into like 15 minutes, I'm so sorry. I want to actually address one of the questions, and there's a few others that I want to do kind of separately, because I feel like there's a lot to say about these specific comments. So one of the questions that I want to answer, there are a few that I really like that are talking about relationships, and that I want to do a whole video on. And then there's another one about college and career that I really want to talk about. But this one was funny, and I feel like this is something my brother asks. He tells me to ask often. It's quite funny. Like if I meet somebody new, he always asks them this question. So it says pancake or waffles, and if I were my brother, I would say French toast. However, I have been thinking about this question for a really long time because I love them both equally. I think I like the consistency of waffles, but like the taste of pancakes. So can I put them together and make a pawaffle? I don't even know if that's a thing. Pawaffle. Can we make that a thing? But I'm not much of a sweet eater, so I would probably just say bread and butter is what I would choose if I were talking breakfast food. But Darth Celsius wrote that pancakes or waffle, and I think that's always a funny question. If you're ever dating, or even if you're in a relationship or your friendships, that is such a funny question to ask because it really stumps people. And it's always like one of my go-to questions because of my brother. But yeah, so thank you for that question. I'm going to end on that. Thank you guys so much for being a part of my life. I know that it's been a process, and I know that there's been a lot of change, and I foresee this channel growing into something different than what it's been. And I think that's the beauty of having YouTube as something that's my creative outlet and it's not my full-time job. It's something that I can genuinely go to when I'm feeling creative or when I'm feeling inspired, and that's what it's always been for me, and that's what I'm going to continue and maintain. So please let me know if you have additional questions. Like I said, I want to really address the relationships in one question and answer video, and then I want to talk about careers in college and doing things along and more of a professional vlog in another. But if you have questions that pertain to either of those subjects, leave them below, or if you have new questions that you want to talk about, please leave them below. So I will definitely see you next Friday, and I appreciate you all for being a part of my journey. And now I gotta get ready for work, so thank you guys. I love y'all. Bye.